Well, Max, finishes 2-0 on the day to Colchester. Just give us your assessment of the performance.
I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough. We lacked control in the game. We didn't win enough second balls, win enough first balls. Just all-round poor day. Something we need to learn quickly, because we seem to be too inconsistent in terms of doing it.
Yeah, that must be really frustrating off the back of the game against Cheltenham, when we looked really, really sharp to come here today. Just seemed like we just couldn't find a rhythm or a tempo in the moments where we could have gained control of the game. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's like you said, there was opportunities to gain control of the game, and we didn't take their moments, and we looked like we might be in the game, and then we conceded a poor second goal. So it's something we as a squad need to learn. And there's a lot to learn in that squad, but we work every day, and it's our job to make sure we perform on a Saturday.
In fairness to us, we stayed in the game at 1-0, and at 1-0 you're always in the game, and we've conceded a poor second goal from our standards, and that kind of was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's obviously like a sucker blow, but in terms of us, we've got to keep going right to the very final whistle. But yeah, I mean, when you're in the game at 1-0 down, I think it's you make sure at the back that you don't make silly mistakes, and that's what we've done today, and it's killed us.
It's another game that come thick and fast over Christmas. AFC Wimbledon away from home. How determined will the group as a collective be to try and put right the wrongs of today?
Oh, massive, yeah. I mean, in terms of our away numbers, they were superb on Boxing Day, and we haven't given what they deserve today, so it's down to us to make sure we put that right against AFC.
Is the inconsistency the main frustration at the moment as a group?
Yeah, it is. I think it also, if you look at the sort of the loss column, I think there's too many games we've lost and we haven't scored enough goals, and that falls on everyone to score goals, because we all go up for set pieces and stuff like that.
Max, appreciate your time. Thank you. Ben?
Max, flat performance today. Any reason why you think that was?
No, it's just we lacked control, lacked quality at times, and at times we could have got back into it. We didn't make that count. So it falls on everyone, like I've said before. So we've just got to make sure that we work towards the AFC game. Yeah.
They obviously started pretty quick, and you find yourselves 1-0 down in the game, and hard to do so against a side who are as stubborn as they are, I guess, in defence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, there was a catalogue of errors before the goal, but it's something that we sort of pride ourselves on as being fast starters, and we haven't started fast today. They come out for the first 6-7 minutes and they were on top, and we couldn't get out of our half. So we'll dissect that in the next coming days, and we'll just make sure we learn from it.
Talking about the errors, I guess it felt like there were kind of too many of them, too many individuals not quite at their best today. Did you feel that as a team as well?
Yeah, and that falls on everyone else to pick. If someone's having a bad game, that you pick them up and you make sure they keep going to the very end, and you sort of help them when they make a mistake. But there was too many of us out there today that weren't up to sort of usual standards.
What were the kind of key messages from Mark Bonner to you guys afterwards in the dressing room?
It's just the inconsistency. We go 1 week, so you go from Cheltenham, Salford, all them games, and then we drop to where we have today. And at the end of the season, you won't be where you want to be if your season is like that. So, I mean, we're working hard every day on the pitch. Like no one will say we aren't otherwise, but it matters on a game day how you produce.
Obviously, tough first half, and you just about got away with it in the first 5 minutes of the second half. The system was changed quite a bit today. How did you players find that? Was that difficult to cope with all the sort of changes tactically, or was it just a case of trying to get going?
No, not at all. I think we played the same shape we have for the last few games, and they were just better at it. They ran harder, they won more duels, so they made us switch in the second half to a shape that we played for a long time, 3-5-2. And at times we looked good in it, and then at times we looked poor and too open and stuff. But you're always going to get that slightly when you're chasing the game. But shape for shape, you shouldn't get beat.
Obviously, Armani Little comes on at half time. How much of a difference did you think it made having him back? Obviously, he's been missing for a few weeks, and the guys in central midfield have done pretty well. But he's a key player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is massive. He leads through his sort of determination and his sort of the way he gets around the pitch, and it sort of spurs everyone on. And I think he's come on, he's done really well. He's got on the ball, played some fantastic passes. But I mean, we lost the game, so as well as he's done, we've lost.
Yeah, and as poorly as you played, you stayed in it for a long period of time, and obviously Mackenzie's volley gets tipped over, Hutton has a chance at the end, Jaden Clark gets booked for diving, could have had a penalty. So, I guess sometimes you don't find your best level, and it's about trying to grind it out. Yeah, I mean that's where the best teams are the best teams, because when they dip below their usual standard, they'll still get a result from the game. We don't tend to do that. When we're not at our mediocre standard, we lose games. So that's why we as a group cannot afford to be anywhere below par, because that's what happens today. I was saying to Mark Bonner about the next game coming quick. he almost, doesn't like the mentality of that, another game's coming because we've been, not at the races today. But I guess you as players, you have to have that mentality sometimes, don't you? That you forget this defeat, put it out of your minds and go on to the next one?
Yeah, certainly. I think, obviously, for us, we're almost lucky there's another game coming. But you can only get away with it for so long, because at some point the season ends and you'll be stuck in 14th place, and that's what no one in that dressing room wants. So, yeah, we're lucky we've got another game coming up, but also we'll go through this game today and take the errors that we've done, because you can't just put that to one side. At some point you've got to own up to them errors and lack of quality.
I mean, on paper the next three is quite a tricky run, isn't it? AFC away, Bromley at home, and then Chesterfield away. So, I guess you guys do tend to, up your level for the sort of so-called big teams in the league.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think every game's a tricky game in this league. For some reason we tend to do better against the better teams, but that's something we need to snap out of, because that's a poor mentality to have. You should go into every game and like it's a cup final.
And I guess with the players that you've got available at the moment, the manager's obviously got options to pick from. You feel like almost now is the time where you guys really need to sort of take advantage of having a big squad and a fit squad.
Yeah, I think it's like you said. I think there's competition for places, so you play poor, you're off, or you don't start, whatever the case is. So it's making sure that the 11 that get selected for the game are up to 100% standard.
And just a message for the travelling supporters perhaps today?
Just, we appreciate you so much for coming, and just sorry we couldn't give you what you paid for.
It must hurt, Max, when you go over to the away end and it's not the sort of reception you wanted.
Yeah, of course, and they have every right to do that, but we as a group take that to heart, and we'll make sure we try and put it right for the following game.
You've showed that as a team you can do it this season, can't you? And I guess that's where the frustration lies when you can't.
I think there's been games this season where we've been unbelievable, and then there's games like today, there's other games you put at home where we're just poor, and it's hard to put your finger on it, and it literally comes down to a mentality. I think if this was, I don't know, Port Vale, you would have seen a different performance, which I don't understand, because every game should be a cup final for us. So yeah, I mean, I can't put it into words, but it is frustrating, because you want to be coming to these places and getting a draw, getting a win, getting a positive result that sort of keeps our run going. So, I mean, we'll knuckle down over the next few days and try and keep going.
And Wimbledon next, like Ben says, and that's a game that you've always had a bit of a ding-dong battle with them over the years. You've played them many times. Good one to look forward to, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I think we'll obviously reflect on this game tonight, tomorrow, and then we'll come in on the Saturday and we'll work hard towards the next game. But we owe the travelling fans a massive performance, and we'll work our best to do that.